You know, this college basketball is all about the players. It's not about the coaches at all. And tonight, I give our players a lot of credit. They were dialed in. It was one of our better 40-minute efforts, especially mentally. I think that stems from a respect from Abilene Christian. We told these guys all week that they had really good players and they had a coaching staff that knows what they're doing. So I think this is a team that will compete in their conference this year for a championship, for a chance to play in the national tournament. They're good. You know, they don't have 8 wins right now and 4 road wins for no reason. And so I think that our guys really respected them, and we played well tonight too. So it wasn't a game that I enjoyed coaching in because that bench has 3 guys that I love dearly. You know, Brett Tanner was my first assistant coach when I was a junior college guy years ago. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Brett Tanner. And we spent together one season when we had no idea what we were doing, but we had some pretty good players, and Tanner's about as loyal as I've ever been around. Ted Crass was on our bench at Little Rock when we won 2 championships and made the NCAA tournament. You know, the only guy that we inherited on that staff. We came to Little Rock and we inherited Ted. It was one of the best decisions I've ever made in coaching is keeping him on the coaching staff. He's a winner. And then lastly, Joe Golding, you know, I coached him as a college player, and then we've become really, really good friends over the years. And so a lot of personal things in that game. And so it wasn't an easy game for me to coach in. So I really appreciate my players, these 2 guys, and their 12 teammates for kind of having my back today, getting us through a game that I really didn't enjoy.
Would think that he'd be a great coach.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it starts with his family history. His grandfather was a Hall of Fame coach in the state of Texas, Wichita Falls area, I believe. And then his dad is a great basketball coach. He's coached at different high schools. I think he's in the Wichita Falls area now. So, and then Golding was just one of those guys. He was a player coach on the floor. He was our point guard, ran our team. Really unselfish guy, too. You know, he's that guy that he's a junior, first weekend, he just throws his car keys to some teammate he doesn't even know. Take the car, see you Monday. That kind of unselfishness. Also that kind of risky, kind of sometimes unintelligence, but that's Joe Golding. But no, he was a tough competitor as a player. And he's done a great job in coaching. You know, he's a Division I assistant at Arkansas Little Rock with Steve Shields. He worked for Jason Copeland at Abilene Christian, a guy that I think doesn't get as much credit as he should. Copeland had some really good teams back in the Lone Star. But Joe Golding's a winner.
Questions for Coach? We'll go to Joe here in the back.
Yeah, first, could you talk about the changes to the starting lineup again today, second time in a row? And then also, offensively, it looked to me like 2 out of the last 3 games, Rice in this one, some struggles here and there, and a lot of that is missing free throws, obviously. But if you could just talk about the way you feel at your offense, basically your half-court offense right now.
You always ask those double questions, man. I mean, I'm the kind of guy, like on the first day of junior high, you know, they give you the locker, 28, 36, 22. I mean, 28, 36, 22, 28, 36. Then one of my friends would be trying to talk to me. I can't. Just one thing at a time. You know, it's kind of me. It's like with Mark Adams trying to change the defenses. Sometimes it gets a little complicated, but I'm glad he does what he does. First part of that question.
Changes to the starting lineup.
Was change the starting lineup. That'd be a question for the players at some point. You know, like there's some things we believe in, disciplines at the top of that list, and you know, guys just got to continue to grow as men. Part of our job is coaching. You know, we obviously got to win games. Kirby tells me that all the time. But I think there's also other parts about the job is turning these guys into men and stuff. So great people. Just a simple mistake. They pay the consequence. We move on. Second part of that question was?
Execution of the half-court offense.
I like how we work together, man.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
You answered some of these questions.
No, tonight I thought we were dialed in. We got some good baskets off the pick-and-roll game. Motion was good to us. We had to break a press tonight, and we had a couple high-level zone possessions. So I think the quicker that the game slows down for our young guys, and then I think the veterans understand what's coming. But the more we can execute on offense, each possession, the better we'll be. And I felt comfortable with our offense tonight. 9 turnovers in the first half is way too many, but give ACU a lot of credit. They sped us up a few times, but then we come back in the second half. I think we had 4 turnovers. One of them was a questionable call from where I was sitting. You know, that's the kind of offensive basketball we want to play.
And then free throw shooting.
Free throw shooting, you know, I'll meet with you in the hallway afterwards if you have any suggestions. We just got to keep working. So, no, with that, in all seriousness, I believe in the process. Nobody shoots more free throws than we do. Nobody tries to coach our guys. You know, free throw shooting is kind of a fine line. You don't want to overcoach guys. You get in their head, but you also want to fix some habits. Nortz needs to finish on his toes. Z needs to take his time. We have some things that we work on, but I'm very confident in our process. Our guys make a lot of free throws. These percentages will turn. We'll win some games this year on free throw shooting as well.
Back middle.
Coach, when you play the type of team defense that you did today, what all has to go right on that side of the ball to get that complete result?
Well, it's a combination of a lot of things. It starts with scouting report, coaching staff putting in hours. All the coaches did a good job on this game. Again, it stemmed from our respect from ACU. This was a game that we prepared on as hard as we've ever prepared a game on. That's what I think of their team. And then you've got to have 5 guys playing as a unit out there. You got to execute scouting reports, strengths and weaknesses. And then I think at the top of the list, you got to be aggressive. So tonight, I do think we played good team defense. We were fortunate in the fact that one of their best players got in early foul trouble. But I think you got to give our guys credit. We forced a couple of those mistakes by Friday, and so we were fortunate tonight. It's a big key. It's a big ingredient in winning. Like, we can't win in our league playing against your best player for 40 minutes. Foul trouble is something that you've got to create, and I thought tonight we did so.
Coach, you were at ACU over the summer with it was at a dinner, but what kind of growth have you seen from the team from then until this point?
Yeah, I've watched every game they played this year, obviously in preparation, so I think their team's getting better. They've got great chemistry. I don't know if I've ever seen a team play their roles and play for each other. The way they start passing the ball around, it's like you're guarding Golden State Warriors out there when they start whipping it around. They've got a great point guard. They've got a great big guy. That's a combination to win. They've got good shooting. They got great body language and demeanor on the court. It looks like an experienced team, which it is. I like their team. It's one of the best ACU teams I've seen. I was fortunate to coach at ACU as well, and I helped recruit a team that won 30 games or something, one of Shannon Hayes' best team. I would put this team Joe's got up with those top teams, whether it be a Peter Kanganga team or a Jared Mosley team, but a lot of the great teams in ACU history. I think this team has a chance to be in that conversation.
Coach, presser right before, he said you treat ACU like you would Baylor. Why is that so important in your process to kind of treat, regardless of conference, non-con, anything, the teams the same way?
Yeah, did you see the Wofford, North Carolina game the other night? Yeah, these things don't happen by chance. This is college basketball, and everybody has players and everybody has good coaches. And so if you don't respect everyone, you'll get humbled very quickly. And so I've just always thought that it came from the coaches that I played for growing up, the people that I've worked for. I believe in respecting the opponent. I believe in respecting the game. And so I'm glad that you saw that. And that's a question that makes me feel good that people recognize the fact that we respect our opponents.
Anything else for Coach before we wrap it up? We'll go back to Adam.
Yeah, Coach, just real quick, you talked about it with James Dickey as well, and obviously Coach Golding. Relationships, no matter where you've been, no matter who you know, are really important to you. I'm not sure if that's common with all coaches, but why are these relationships so important to you?
It's just kind of the way we coach. People see me coaching Naeem Stevenson pretty hard, and you might ask, man, what's that relationship? It's a real relationship. I love Naeem. I've got Naeem's back. He's got my back. I know Naeem wants to graduate and play pro. Naeem knows that I want to win the Big 12 and graduate every player. So it all starts with relationships, how we coach, and it's how we recruit. We tell recruits this is what our school stands for, but this is what you're going to get. The extra bang for your buck here is you're going to have a coaching staff that's with you the rest of your lives. We don't shake your hand and give you an abuelo certificate at graduation. We shake your hand and we're your best friend until the day, hopefully we die before you. That's the way the world should work. So with these coaches, that's not like a coaching cliche. I'm not sitting at this table right here if it wasn't for Joe Golding. This guy played for us when I was a coach and has helped me get players. It's a relationship. And I got a circle of friends. Joe's in that circle. Then Coach Dickey, I don't have the job I have today with these facilities and these paychecks and these players if it wasn't for guys like Coach Dickey that came before us. He's one of the best coaches that ever coached at this school. And so I respect the history of the game. I respect guys that have played for us. I respect guys that coach at the schools before us, and it's just kind of how I'm wired.
We got time for a couple more. We'll stay in the back.
Coach Golding said he gave you a Christmas present before the game. Can you give us any idea what that was?
Yeah, he gave me a rooster. I can't really tell you why, but roosters are important to me and Joe. Roosters are fighters. Roosters aren't scared. Roosters are competitors. And you can buy a lot of roosters down by the border, the Del Rio, Ma Crosby's area, and we spent a little time together over there over the years.
Okay.
Huh?
Not a statue or anything, but a real rooster.
All right, you know, just like the Fox, some things I can tell you, some things I can't.
Coach, as you round into Big 12 play, Baylor coming up next, did you have like a checklist of things that you want to see out of your team as Big 12 play hits that says, okay, we're ready, we're where we want to be?
Well, above all, you want your team to get better. There's some mathematical things. You got to win enough games where you're in the conversation for NCAA tournament here in a couple months. We've done that. You want to get your younger guys experience. We've done that. You want to get your veterans comfortable. I think, you know, like Zach has a good game today. That's great. And then above all, you want your team to improve. I think we played better defense today than we did against South Alabama. I thought we executed the offense better than we did against Maine, and so we're getting better. Whether it's enough to compete in this league is yet to be determined, but we're excited about the challenge. You know, Baylor is a premier program. The consistency they've had in the last few years with Coach Drew's tenure there speaks for itself. They have the kind of program, you know, that we're trying to build here in a lot of ways, so why not start with one of the best teams in the country opening night? We're excited about the challenge.
We'll wrap it up with Jeff in the front.
You're on your Christmas break here. Players going home, players coming back. What's the plan for practices for the next week before you get ready for Baylor?
Yeah, we're meeting back Christmas night. You know, these guys are elite people for so many reasons, but college basketball players don't really get much of a break. So this year we're fortunate that we played on the 22nd, not the 23rd, so they get one more day of Christmas. But guys will get home. Some of our guys will stay here, stay with friends and family, and then we'll get back to work Christmas night.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Open practice Christmas night, media. We all expect you to be here. Bring gifts, please. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.